예, 모디 총리님 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for your remarks. First of all, I would like to first extend my sincerest gratitude to Prime Minister Modi and people of the Republic of India for the warm welcome accorded to me and my delegation. Since the G20 summit in Hamburg last July, I've come to meet Prime Minister Modi again in just 1 year. In that time, through social media, we celebrated the International Day of Yoga and continued the communication with each other. Perhaps this is why I feel close to him like an old friend. For the last 2 days, we have spent much time together, having in-depth dialogues on a wide range of topics. At the Gandhi Smriti, we thought about world peace together. At the inauguration ceremony of Samsung Electronics' Noida new plant, we affirmed our solid commitment to the expansion of economic cooperation between our two countries. We also took the subway together, and we were able to meet a number of Indian citizens, and we were able to solidify our friendship even further. India and Korea, for the last 45 years since establishing diplomatic ties, developed our bilateral relation in various fields. And in 2015, on the occasion of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Korea, escalated it to a special strategic partnership. Now, after 3 years have passed, Prime Minister Modi is pursuing Act East policy that attaches importance to cooperation with Korea, and I'm pressing ahead with a new Southern policy that takes India as Korea's key partner for cooperation. At the summit today, we shared a view that now is the right time to substantiate Korea-India Special Strategic Partnership and lift the partnership to the next level. Today, Prime Minister Modi and I agreed to promote cooperation for people, prosperity, and peace, and respond to the fourth industrial revolution so as to create engines of future growth envisioned by 3P plus cooperation in a vigorous manner. Specific measures to that end were discussed. First, by facilitating exchange between peoples of our two countries, we decided to broaden the scope of mutual understanding and empathy. We will make mutual summit-level visits on a regular basis. To complement and support intergovernmental consultations, we agree to expand high-level consultations between the two governments. Various interactions between our governments will become a firm foundation for promoting our friendship. By means of visa simplification, such as a visa on arrival facilities, we decided to work toward reducing inconveniences experienced by people. In the areas of tourism, youth, academia, and education, among others, our two sides will then endeavor to increase people-to-people exchange and carry out a diverse cultural cooperation projects. Starting this year, standard textbooks in India will carry for the first time detailed descriptions related to Korea. This was welcome news, I heard. Some 100 million students of India will now be able to learn about Korea's history of printing technologies such as Tripitaka Koreana and Jikji, and also its economic development and democratization, as well as candlelight revolution that has become the model of democracy. In fact, the Tripitaka Koreana and Jikji are the fruit blossomed by the Buddhist culture, which is disseminated by way of India. On that note, I express my special appreciation to Prime Minister Modi and the government of India.
Secondly, by utilizing our mutual economic structure and cooperation potential, we have agreed to expand our economic cooperation. Korean companies doing business in India are living up to the Prime Minister's Make in India initiative and leading our bilateral economic cooperation efforts. Going forward, I hope that more Korean companies will invest in India so that the foundation for our mutual prosperity can be further expanded. The Prime Minister and I discussed ways in which we can go beyond big companies and help foster ties between promising small to medium-sized companies and startups in our respective countries, and we agreed to promote substantial measures to encourage their cooperation. Furthermore, in India's large-scale infrastructure projects in areas such as smart cities, power generation, railroads, streets, ports, and renewable energy, highly competitive Korean companies can be encouraged to participate. And to that end, we agreed to take a keen interest in this issue and cooperate together. And based on this, we have agreed that from 20 billion to the current amount by 2030, we're going to expand our trade volume to 50 billion US dollars. Furthermore, the Prime Minister and I discussed the new Korea-India SEPA negotiations and expressed our appreciation for these efforts. We agreed to work together for the early conclusion of the negotiations. Thirdly, for peace and security on the Korean Peninsula, South Asia, and the world, the Prime Minister and I agreed to work ever closer in cooperation. I explained to the Prime Minister the Korean government's efforts and initiatives to establish permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula and expressed my gratitude to India's unwavering support. To that, the Prime Minister replied that he will continue to cooperate actively for the sake of peace on the Korean Peninsula and further reaffirmed his position. Furthermore, based on the shared values of trust and freedom, we have decided to expand our diplomatic and security cooperation. In that end, in the field of defense industries, we have agreed to also further our cooperation going forward. Furthermore, for the sake of regional peace and stability, we have agreed to strengthen our cooperation within the regional multilateral consultative frameworks, such as the East Asia Summit and the ASEAN Regional Forum. Lastly, as for the imminent challenge facing us with the fourth industrial revolution, we agreed to establish a cooperation platform to respond to these issues together. India has excellent software capabilities and a talented ICT workforce, and Korea has rich experience with expertise in manufacturing and commercialization technologies, and if we can bring these strengths together, that will further upgrade our competitive edges and our future growth engines in the fields of AI, electric vehicles, ICT, IoT, aerospace, biotechnology, and other advanced science and technology areas. We agreed to expand the cooperation of our country's research institutions. Prime Minister Modi and I have reflected the agreements and deliberations we had during the summit meeting on the Korea-India Vision Statement, which we adopted as a statement of the future vision of our bilateral relations. I hope that these specific measures can be carried out as soon as possible so that the peoples of our countries can reap the benefits. Through this state visit to India, I hope that we can open a new era for bilateral strategic cooperation. The regular consultations between our two heads of state will mark the starting point in those efforts. I will eagerly await Prime Minister Modi's visit to Korea in 2020. Until then, I hope we can continue our close communications in various multilateral summits and through online channels. Once again, I express my deepest gratitude to Prime Minister Modi and the people of India for their friendship and warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. This concludes our press event. Thank you all for joining.
That was the joint press statement released by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and South Korean President Moon Jae-in, who we all know is on a visit to India, and this is day 2 of his visit, and numerous areas were discussed in the field of science and technology. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated that India's Act East policy will include Republic of Korea as a part of the Act East policy, and that South Korea has created employment opportunities in India and that it's an example of strong vision. He also assured South Korea that India will provide all cooperation and assistance in reducing tension on the Korean Peninsula and help in facilitating peace on the Korean Peninsula. He also expressed his hopes for a 2+2 dialogue between the two nations, and he also welcomed South Korea's participation in India's Make in India policy. And whereas South Korean President Moon Jae-in, he of course welcomed India's initiatives in terms of the International Day of Yoga, also streamlined the fields of electronics and mentioned the expansion of economic cooperation. He said that South Korea is looking forward to strengthening its relationship with India through people, prosperity and peace, the 3 Ps, and help facilitate exchange between people, and support and complement the two governments. They also assured India of easing the visa on arrival facility, including exchange of students and actually facilitate learning process, especially in terms of technology. He also mentioned that India could provide its workforce, whereas South Korea could provide its expertise in the sector of technology. And these were the large areas of discussion, as we just heard the joint press release between the two nations.